Have you ever been suggested a video game, movie, TV show by a friend or just some guy on the internet? They sing all of its praises, seemingly ignoring all of its inevitable faults. Eventually, in the pits of boredom or despair, you pick up that recommendation, expecting nothing spectacular or even something awful. And then... oh my god, why didn't I play this game sooner? Hollow Knight is one of those games in my life. Every YouTuber I admire only has high regards for this game. One of my friends, who is real and isn't a voice in my head, considers Hollow Knight his favorite game of all time, and I can actually see why. The gameplay is fresh and adds new elements to it as the player progresses. The level design is challenging yet fun, and the art style is one of the best that gaming has to offer. Only behind Alvin and the Chipmunks for the Nintendo Wii, of course. The gameplay of Hollow Knight for the most part begins like any other game. You can jump and you can attack. Pretty darn complex. However, the most interesting mechanic comes from the soul system. The soul system allows you to conjure spells. The one you begin with being the ability to heal yourself by a mask using a third of your soul sphere. A mask is a typical video game's heart system. If you didn't, pick that up from the words heal and yourself. As the game continues, you unlock even more abilities by completing the main objectives, exploring interesting locations, or paying the price. Whether it be your currency or your life. I'm gonna murder someone! I tend to categorize these unlockable powers as a soul ability or a mechanic ability. A soul ability resembling a long-range blast or a Super Smash Bros. Up B special, while a mechanic ability integrates itself into the core gameplay mechanics like a double jump or a charge dash. These abilities revolve around different aspects. Some being intended for combat, some being for reaching previously unreachable destinations, some being for getting around the map faster, and some tending to your psychopathic tendencies. Alongside your unlockable powers, you can also obtain charms that help you throughout your journey. The charms are essentially a perk system that will help you in diverse ways, and the number of notches you have will determine how many charms you can equip. These charms could show your character on the map, they could help your weapon reach further, they could even help you focus faster. The gameplay is one of the strongest points of this game. Probably because it's a game, and the word gameplay has game in it. You're welcome for the revelation. The combat is balanced no matter how many new moves you get. The powerful abilities you obtain have a price to pay through using soul, and the charms are an efficient way to shake things up throughout the game. The gameplay starts generic, but really becomes unique to the gaming scene. The level design is one of the most enjoyable yet challenging parts of Hollow Knight, which is often a hard line to cross when creating any video game. Don't get me wrong, some of these levels are infuriating. I'm actually gonna bite my fucking finger off. While some aren't difficult, but maybe your finger slips on accident. Whew. Yeah, that was me that time. The platforming aspect of the game immerses you so much your head is practically through the entire monitor. You really want to concentrate every single second. Because for some of the harder locations, you need to make every move perfect. Since this is a metroidvania game, there's a lot of backtracking, and once you get a new ability that allows you to reach destinations previously unheard of, this aspect becomes all the more prominent, like the pale ore above the mines or Cornifer in the fog caverns. This guy has to make everything more difficult than it actually needs to be, and how did he manage to get a girl like this? No, just stop. I'm not attracted to bugs. Although there's a lot of retracing your buggy little footsteps, the skag system allows you to commute from place to place with relative ease. This doesn't make the game boringly easy, however. These skag stations are usually in places further away from the more important ones. For example, both stations in the City of Tears being separated from the Watcher. There's only one instance of an annoying choice in a location layout, and that is the bridge between Kingdom's Edge and the Hive, which the crack in the wall is practically invisible, and it's the only mainline place I hadn't reached until after beating Hollow Knight. The level design allows players to challenge themselves when it comes to not just combat, but platforming and puzzles with backtracking that is neither tedious nor time consuming. The thing that stands out the most amongst not just gamers but media consumers in general is the beautiful art style of Hollow Knight. Don't get me wrong, my art's on a whole nother level, but I've never seen such simplistic beauty in a video game quite like this one. All characters in the game are based off of bugs, and the design presents whatever bug they are really well, in a simple and effective cartoonish way. The Watcher Knights are rhinoceros beetles, the Dung Defenders are dung beetle, those darn mantis are probably praying. Every design is crafted with immense thought that fit the tone of the game and match the settings. Speaking of the settings, I had to change mine to be more effective. The controls are kind of annoying. Oh, by lord, I'm talking about the wrong settings. I'm such a ninny hammer. Speaking of settings, each location is visually stunning and sticks to its atmosphere. My favorite locations being Greenpath's beautiful floral backdrop that would make a dendrophiliac swoon, the City of Tears' constant rainy day emo kid vibe, and Crystal Peak. And I'm strictly talking about visuals because Crystal Peak is peak. Yeah, the peak of Lord of the Rings Gollum, it was not good. The art design is an incredible strong point in a game pretty much built by powerful spikes. The game never feels like its art style is diverging too far away or at all from the beginning. The characters and enemies are drawn in a way that stands out yet still fits into the world of Hallownest. The destinations are more impressive than anything you'll see in the real world, and this is all contained in the simple beauty of Hollow Knight. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you're young and don't like swearing, you may want to leave the room. Me and your mother are going to have a long discussion about your future. You gone? Okay. This game is maybe the maddest I've been in fucking years. I'm a person who tends to hold in their negative emotions until something makes them pop. You know, like a healthy person. But fuck me, is it difficult while playing this. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun game with great gameplay, level design, characters, and an unforgettable story that I'll get to in a fucking moment. But by golly, I wanted to end my pain and suffering by sleeping eternally on a multitude of occasions. Why don't we just start with these fuckers? This is the first part of the game that I felt was a true challenge. Don't get me wrong, the Mantis Lords and the Enraged Guardian were a little irritating, but once you discovered their patterns, you were fine. These bastards had moves that sometimes you couldn't even evade. One of them would do their jumpy spin fuck, while the other would do their somersault and turn you into a sonic spin move sandwich. Then there's this prick. This guy wouldn't give me a fucking break. I had to dash every 3 seconds, which isn't an exaggeration by the way, and I didn't even have any time to heal. However, he was another one of those cases where you just need to study his patterns, and you can defeat him with relative ease. Now, I actually think that a game you can rage at is a good thing sometimes. It certainly is for me. As a person who allows their negative emotions to build up, games that make me mad are a great outlet for that rage I keep inside. Yes, I could do some hobbies or play a relaxing game, but those awful thoughts in your mind catch up to you, and you need a way to release them that doesn't link them to a positive experience, like drawing, exercising, or driving to the sound of music. That's just how I feel, anyways. Okay, buddy, me and your mother have finished talking. Do you know what a divorce is? The story itself is something I won't talk about since I genuinely do think that people should experience the game for themselves. I will, however, talk about how the story is presented. And what I mean by that is, I had no idea where the main story was leading until about halfway through my playthrough. Of course, you get little glimpses of foreshadowing and examples of Chekhov's gun that give you ideas of how things are going to occur, but you never truly understand the big picture until I would say you reach the Hollow Knight statue in the City of Tears. This is a game that has mastered subtle storytelling, which only becomes more prominent as you finish playing the game. One more time, play this for yourself. I guarantee the only thing you'll be able to predict at the beginning of the game is the usage of the Black Egg in the Black Egg Temple. Wow, I wonder why they called it the Black Egg Temple. My experience with Hollow Knight was one that I'm sure many players had when first playing the game. I had no idea what was going on with the story, I had no idea who my little guy was, I clinged to the map location charm like it was my first wife's body after the railroad spike incident. I really wasn't expecting the amazing ordeal that I'd been granted. Very soon into the beginning, I found the Black Egg Temple and thought, yep. A big dragon's coming out of that thing. I beat the first few bosses like they were the Trackman after the railroad spike incident, and eventually had to fight against the mysterious beauty Hornet, which I must say is just, wow. You know what? Fair enough, yeah, just write your comment. I made it to the City of Tears without much trouble. The first issue that arose in my playthrough was finding where to go after reaching the Hollow Knight statue. It turns out, plot twist, I was supposed to use the simple key on the entrance to the Royal Waterways. I didn't do that. I almost entirely adventured through the Fungal Wastes, Crystal Peak, and Deep Nest since I used the simple key found in the City of Tears to open up Gigi's thingy-majiggy. It took me 4 hours. 4 after reaching the Hollow Knight statue to get to that cesspool of sewage and slugger beds. Another thing that happened in the game which I wasn't expecting was when reaching the Dreamers. I waited until I had reached all of them before I would fight them because of 2 reasons. 1, I would battle them back to back to muscles surrounding the spine, so I'd be hyped one after the other. 2, I was expecting a fight. I just slapped them a few times and stole their essence and then went on to what I thought was the final boss, Hollow Knight. It was easier than both of these rattle caps. Now, I haven't entirely completed the game yet. I know I have the Radiants to defeat, which I will undeniably get to since this game is so addicting. More so than my favorite drug, paracetamol. Hollow Knight is an experience that I believe everyone should try. It's insanely fun with a little bit of annoyance that actually manages to enhance the memorability of one's playthrough. I can't believe that I hadn't listened to the YouTubers and my friends sooner. This game really is one of a kind. Of course, this game isn't perfect, although I have become just like my friend, someone who ignores the inevitable faults. I can see why a person wouldn't enjoy this game. Some people want a more casual gaming experience, and this one feels like it's made for the master race. Gamers. Not to mention that metroidvania games aren't a lot of people's cup of tea. Hell, the only one I had played before this was Metroid Dread. Silksong is one of my most anticipated releases, since it features the bug form of Aphrodite. Wow, that was bad.
Aphrodite?
Since it features the bug form of Aphrodite, and I am itching for more Metroidvania fun. All I know is that this game has easily become one of my favorite games in years, and I highly suggest that you try it out, no matter who you are. Even if you're a casual gamer, just give it a try. I may have finished the main story and defeated Hollow Knight, but the Radiance, I'm coming for you. And once I do, you better believe I'm gonna upload my thoughts on the final boss of one of the only games I can personally dub a game everyone needs to experience. Hey fellas, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I highly suggest that you watch this video delving into the illusion of choice in The Walking Dead Telltale, being used as a way to show who you would be in the apocalypse. I'd also like to thank my guy on the Patreon, CJ, who has upped his 1 centimeter of land in Scotland to 3 centimeters. Real proud, bud. Anyways, fellas, I will see you in, I don't know, like a few weeks.